Hi, and welcome to today's episode of the Property Pod. My name's Libby, and today I'm joined by Kelly and Darrell from Oakheart Property. Thanks so much for coming on, guys.
No problem.
And we're going to be speaking about pricing your property and how to value your home. So welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
And tell us a bit about Oakheart then.
So Oakheart is an independent estate agent. We are located across Essex and Suffolk. Mm-hmm. And essentially we've grown very, very quickly, but we're new kids on the block, but making a big impact.
Yeah, fab. And at what point do you think people should get their properties valued?
So I would say in advance of actually wanting to move, just so you can plan ahead rather than sort of last ditch spurt to get your house on the market, basically just to prepare. So yeah, a good couple of months in advance, I'd say.
Okay, great. And what factors influence a property's value?
Well, naturally, anything that's, if you've extended a property, any renovations that you've made are obviously going to add value, providing the market has continued to move forwards. But just general sort of upkeep and maintenance and new kitchens, new bathrooms are going to make it much more attractive to a potential buyer, I'd say.
Yeah, and I imagine they're quite big selling points, the kitchen and bathroom for like most
especially
properties.
for women, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
It's normally the first thing that they look to, and it's always going to make things a lot more easier to move in, because a lot of other things you can change once you're in, but you need a
good kitchen.
Yeah.
And how do you think you can add value to a property?
Again, renovations, extensions, upgrading wherever you can. It just makes it more attractive to a potential buyer. So, yeah, anything like that's going to help for sure. Great.
And how do you find out how much a home is worth?
So, I would personally look at comparable properties. So, anything that's sold in and around the area, that's of a similar size, stature, condition. If it's been on the market fairly recently and has been on and sort of sold or maybe not sold sometimes, it gives you a bit of guidance on, where your property sits within that price banding. So that's always a good place to start.
There's lots of online portals as well, aren't there?
For sure.
I mean, you're never going to get a real accurate price unless you go out and do a physical valuation. But it's moved along, hasn't it, the market, where you can go onto Rightmove, Zoopla and get a rough guide of what your home is worth. Yeah,
I mean, even on a website, you can go on there and get what we call an instant valuation, which basically scans everything within that area and gives you a guideline. But I mean, the truth of the matter is it's worth what someone's prepared to pay for it. Like most things.
Yeah, definitely.
You could have the property on the market for X price for a few weeks. If you've had 10 people view it, whatever your highest offer is at that point is technically what it's worth.
It's all subjective, I guess. Yeah,
exactly right.
And how can I prepare a property for a viewing? Is there any sort of best sort of way to do it?
For this one.
So there are a few things. Obviously, I've been doing viewings myself as a first-time buyer recently, and I'm probably quite judgmental doing the job that I do, but clean your home. Make sure everything's tidy. In an ideal world, leave the house for the viewing, for the estate agent to show people around, because people will naturally open up and be more honest if they're with a third party. Rather than just being overly polite to
be like,
to the owner.
Nice.
I love it. And then the owner's like, where's my offer? If you've got pets, where you can try and take them out. Fish on the side is probably okay. What else can we?
That's it, really. Just preparing the house. So ultimately, you've got to put yourself in the shoes of a buyer. When you walk into a house, what are your turn-offs? What are your turn-ons? If you see a Great Dane roaming around, it's probably going to put you off. At the same time, if you walk in, it smells nice, it looks clean and tidy, lots of worktop space, floor space. It helps show the property in its natural light, in the best light,
And I guess especially with people living there, it's easier for people to visualise themselves living there if there's not people 100%. Already living there and all the stuff everywhere.
And it's also, I mean, you mentioned there about people living in the house. It might be a family home or whatever, so it's not going to be like a show home all the time. So something that we find has worked very, very well is open days.
Oh, okay.
So rather than having a viewing at, I don't know, on a Thursday, a Saturday, a Sunday, a Monday, let's try and confine them into like a 2-hour slot of some sort, and still have one after the other, still scheduled. But as a homeowner, it allows you to put your Jo Malone candle on, get your bread in the oven, whatever it is you're going to do, get it prepared, and then it's just hopefully done in one foul swoop rather than sporadic viewings.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And what is the average price of a home in Ipswich at the minute?
So Ipswich is sort of high twos, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of 280 to 300 is the average.
Okay.
That obviously changes every year, but for the last year, that's the average, which is probably higher than the last 10 years.
Yeah. Do you think the whole pandemic and people moving out of London, have you seen a lot of that yourselves, people moving from London to the countryside?
Yeah, so it's on the train line, so the further you get out from London, you kind of get more for your money, don't you? So we're finding that in Colchester, people are moving from Chelmsford along. From Colchester, people are moving to Ipswich.
Oh, okay.
But the stamp duty holiday sort of kick-started it, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, that was a bit mad, on our end as well. Everyone was like, I want to get it now,
Yeah, pre-pandemic, it was all doom and gloom. There was talk of recession, and the government introduced the stamp duty deadline, stamp duty holiday, which essentially just sent the market through the roof, and it just created so much activity because anybody intending to move in the next 4 or 5 years, well, there's a huge saving to do it now, and ultimately that created lots of activity and pushed the prices up.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Prices have really shot up over the last 18 months or so, for sure.
Definitely. And what is the average price of a house in Colchester?
So it's higher than Ipswich, as Kelly just said. So, I would say it's probably somewhere around the 340 mark, up to 350 potentially. It really depends whereabouts you are, but as an average, I'd say, around those sorts of figures.
I guess the closer you are to the city and
for sure,
everything like that definitely makes a difference.
Yeah. Well, I think the pandemic taught everyone that, because a lot of people notoriously was in London and in London money, that doesn't need to happen as such now. You can be working from home, maybe commuting 1 day a week, or even not at all. So you can still earn that money, that sort of level of income, but not actually be based there. And naturally, cost of living is a lot lower as you move away. Saving on train fare for a start is £5,000 from Colchester, per annum. So it's brought a lot of people out, and we're dealing more and more with buyers from outside of area.
Interesting, I suppose you can just get so much more for your money. Like in London, you can get like a 1-bed flat with like no garden, and then here it's like a match. Like I don't know how much, but definitely.
I think the pandemic as well, because people were sort of refined to their homes, weren't they? They were closed in, so we had a lot of people being like, I have to have a garden.
I need to get outside. A bit claustrophobic.
And I think the other thing as well, it forced a lot of people to make lots of upgrades. So they've made all these upgrades, the market's then moved up, and it's like, well, actually we've now made 50, 60, 70,000 pounds on our property. We can now upsize and take the next step.
Okay. And where do you think you can currently get the best value for money in Suffolk?
So I would say part of the reason we came to Ipswich, because we looked at other areas first, but even in and around Ipswich itself, there's some really good, you say, investments and best value for money. Even like down the marina, there's obviously lots of draws there. You're near to town centre, you've got the university there. As you head across to East Ipswich, you've obviously got the hospital and various other points over there which are naturally going to be a good investment because they're always going to increase in value. The waterfront, I'd like to think, isn't going anywhere, so that's always going to be there. It's always going to be attractive. You've got lots of nice bars down the front. It really depends what demographic that you're looking to attract. If you're looking for more of a family home, lower yield but a long-term investment, there's lots of lovely suburban locations dotted around Ipswich. But as Suffolk as a whole, I would certainly say here in Ipswich, hence why we came here, very much the same as why we opened in Colchester. There's lots of nice villages on the outskirts, but near the amenities, near the hospitals, near the good schools, they're always going to be the better locations.
Yeah, and you're close enough to London and sort of other cities that you have like the nice city country sort of life balance. It's not too full on, but you also have like the beach and everything. Yeah,
you can hop on a train, you're an hour away from the hustle and bustle, which is great, but it's also nice to get on the train and come back.
Yeah, run away
to being in the big country, smoke.
Yeah, definitely. And where do you think you can get the best value for money in Essex currently?
Again, similar to what I just mentioned, I think Colchester is very good. I think you start going even a little bit closer towards Chelmsford and so forth. That pretty much halves your journey into London. So Chelmsford's a good hotspot, but naturally the prices are just so much higher. I mean, we're finding in Colchester you've got some rental returns, like the yields are in excess of 6.5-7%, which is a very good return. You move closer to Chelmsford, that decreases a little, but the price of the property will go up more over a period of time. So again, it depends whether we're looking at short term, long term. But Colchester and Chelmsford themselves are both great spots to invest in.
Yeah, definitely. And would you say it's worth it to include a virtual tour in your property ad as well as pictures? What do you think the advantages of that are?
I think there's mixed reviews on those. Personally, I like them.
I really like them. I understand why some vendors, obviously we take instruction from our clients, and I do understand the points. If we do have somebody who says that they don't want one, it's generally to do if they've got lots
an
of
untidy
pictures.
house.
An untidy house. Lots of family photos on the walls, because then you're just getting blurred images everywhere. As a buyer, I think they're really handy because it kind of alleviates a lot of viewings that probably didn't need to happen, where they've got access to sort of every nook and cranny.
Yeah, I think the pros of them is it gives someone an opportunity. The idea is people view the photographs online and are wowed. They then look at the virtual tour. If they still like it, they then come and view it in the flesh, as to speak, or in person. And ultimately, the idea is it's almost like a second viewing by the time they get there, so it doesn't waste the owner's time, the viewer's time, our time. But at the same time, they're never going to buy it from the luxury of their sofa at home. No. It's there's pros and cons, but either way, I think it's good to showcase what you've got. And we want to deal in quality over quantity, right? We don't want 50 people viewing the house. I'd rather have 7 people, but there's a chance that every single one of them people is going to buy it, rather than just showing people around for the sake of it. Because I know I don't want people traipsing through my house just for
fun,
for a day out, basically. Or they get there, walk in and don't like it. Which is, floor plans are another good one for that as well, just to try and sieve out the incorrect buyers, to sort of narrow down to the people who are serious.
And do people use videos as well still sometimes, or would you say that's not really a thing?
Videos are good. They're very good. We're finding of late Instagram reels are really, really attractive.
Oh yeah, and TikTok. I don't know if you guys are on TikTok, but
I'm a bit off
we
TikTok.
Oh, you are.
Finally,
it's someone else. Yeah, I'm trying to push it. Yeah, I love it.
It
yeah,
might be because we've got a 17-year-old apprentice.
Yeah. Oh, I do like it. No, it's amazing though. Social media reach for like all that sort of stuff.
Crazy.
It's incredible. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Don't get me wrong. You can pay to boost things and really up the ante, but on the whole, social media is free. And as the years go on, it's not going to be long till every single person is on it.
Yeah.
There's already a huge part of the population that are on it day in, day out. A lot of the youngsters are probably glued to it more than they need to be. But from a business point of view, it's great to showcase everything that you've got, isn't it? It's
definitely.
Free advertisement as such.
Yeah, love a bit of TikTok.
It's very addictive though.
It is. It's very bad. Yeah. No, great. Thanks so much.
Lose many hours.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. It's great.
No problem. Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, you too. And for all you guys at home, if you did enjoy this episode, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.